at the very least, Novak had a good enough time with Leonard Lake to suggest the experience to his new friend, Charles Ng.
Just the fact that anybody could be friends with either one of these pieces of shit. It's just like, I can't believe how long. Jeffrey Dahmer needed a friend.
Yeah, but
Jeffrey Dahmer needed a friend. These guys are just having friends come out of the woodwork. They're having like poker games.
Well, I would say these guys are slightly more personable and they have the ability for friendship slightly more than Dahmer.
I guess so, but their main focus is building bunkers and group rape.
Much less dangerous for the friend if you don't have a drill bit going through your skull in an attempt to make you a human sex zombie.
Well, that is an interesting thing about Charles Ng and Leonard Lake. See, Leonard Lake really only had one friend throughout his life, Charles Fat Man Gunner. But Charles Ng actually...
Fat Charles. It was more specific than that.
Excuse me, Fat Charles Gunner. But Charles Ng, he made friends wherever he went. He had friends in the army, places that he would work at. Later on, he had friends there. Every time he got into trouble, Leonard Lake or Charles Ng always had somebody to call.
But he was just a sour little man. Every time you hear him talk, he's just like, "Oh, they always lie about what I do. You lie about what I done, and I was just hanging around. I just hanging around. You know, I come around and I bring, yes, I do. I bring a big fancy pot. Yes, I brought a walk. Oh, is it funny? Is it funny? Everybody ref about the things I bring to the friendship."
So Ng, at this moment, is serving in the Marines in Hawaii. And his time in the Marines was fairly uneventful until the eventual crash and burn. He was generally described as a loner, although he would entertain his fellow soldiers with his kung fu skills, which he would kick pencils out of their hands. And he was actually known for his kung fu skills and was pretty good with nunchucks.
This is my question, again. Do we actually have witness testimony written down that says he was good at nunchucks? Or is he just one of those pieces of shit that you'd meet at, like, day camp when you're, like, 12 years old, who's just like, "Oh, yeah, I'm pretty much expert at nunchuck. You should come by my garage. I have, it's two paper towel rolls tied together with rubber band, and I'll fucking whip it across your face until you're blind, my friend."
Well, Charles Ng was described by former commanders as an exemplary Marine. As far as Marines went, that because he was also obsessed with violence. Like, he was the type of guy that would chant the Marine, like the type of shit that they chant during the run, like the jogs during boot camp. He would say stuff like,
"No kill, no thrill,"
over and over and over again.
Private, listen, we love your exuberance, all right? But I'm really going to need you to hit some of the L's in this, okay? I know that there is a barrier here, and I understand that we here in the Marines, we're equal opportunities. We're really going to try for you to hit these L's, all right? Okay, of course, Commander. Yes, sir. No kill.
All right, just repeat it. No kill, no thrill.
No kill.
No kill.
No thrill. Just give me gun. Give me gun. Why everybody always complain about how I say things and what I do and what I bring to friendship?
So, despite being a weird guy, he's always, and that's the other thing they said, that he'd constantly be in the corner practicing his spin kicks.
Fucking loser.
No, I mean, this is what he has to do. I mean, how difficult is it for an Asian American to find a identity in this country, especially at this time? All he had was Bruce Lee and Kung Fu films. What else was he supposed to do?
Hey, we have some great Asian personalities that made their way in this country.
Tila
Kobayashi.
Okay.
We got Kobayashi, and we got Sun Yi Allen. So big players out there.
George Takei.
At this point,
he's
he
doing
was nothing.
He was Sulu at this point.
People were making fun of him.
And the guy that was the butler in the Green Hornet, Kato.
That's Jackie. That's
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
But I think that Charles Ng is not doing anything for Asian culture, doing high kicks, being like, "Oh, I dare a bird get even close to me. Because a bird even comes close, I destroy it with I got a big swipe kick. Big swipe kick. Look at me when I do it. Why is everybody always complaining about what I do and when I practice my speed kick?"
Well, he could have used a buddy, I think.
Well, his buddy was, in fact, Mark Novak, the guy that had visited Leonard Lake. The two had met while they were shopping in the Army surplus store. They noticed that they were wearing identical scuba diving watches.
Hey, buddy, what you wearing? What's that?
It's a Casio scuba diving watch. Yeah, I love it. It's one of the best watches I've ever.
Shit, my friend.
Do you have the same?
Look at it. With your eyeballs, dude.
Man, it's so like I am white and you are different white. But
I'm
I feel
a different type of white. But I gotta say, we friends now. And you ever once complain about how what I do and what I bring to friendship? I tell you what. I will put you down in a bunker. I tie you to a recliner bed. I cut off your clothes with scissors, and I watch you as my body prays with your balls.
I think I'm going to recommend this guy go meet that psycho Leonard Lake to get him away from me.
Yeah, well,
Tom Myers.
Tom Myers. Well, they did, after they met at the Army surplus store, they decided to go have a soda together because they're both sober.
Which also shows me this is the problem. I if you do have a drinking problem or a drug problem, I'm glad that you get out of it and you're sober and then you're being strong. But a lot of times it means that you're an insufferable piece of shit.
I have no problem with recovering alcoholics, but for the person who's never touched any drugs, including pharmaceutical drugs, at any point in their life, you haven't lived.
Yeah. So while they're having their soda, they started talking about, survivalism, which Charles Ng was already pretty into. And Novak mentioned, hey, I just stayed a few days with this guy out in California. His name is Tom Myers. You ought to look him up sometime. So Charles Ng, this meeting would actually be pretty fortuitous for him because soon after this, he would go AWOL from the Marines after getting caught stealing $11,000 in machine guns, grenade launchers, rifles, and pistols from the base armory.
Which is insane. He
It's
was
insane.
obsessed with weaponry. He loved guns. But at the same time, what we're going to discover about Charles Ng is that he had a true problem with kleptomania.
Yeah.
Like he loved to steal. He liked to get things over on people. He wanted to be smarter than everybody else, which is why him and Leonard Lake got along completely, because the idea is they were the last two brave men in America by the end to really get what they want. Like real men's rights activists. They're really, really great at it. Really strong men.
Yeah.
And really, man, as we get more and more into this, it's like Ng and Lake were like the proto-men's activists.
Yes, it's
like
horrible.
the really obnoxious ones. The ones that are just fucking terrible, terrible pieces of shit. The ones who refer to women as whores constantly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he set all this up where he was talking a bunch of shit about how he was going to rob the armory, and everyone's just been like, all right, Charles, whatever, man. I don't think you should. But okay. So Charles Ng made friends with this one loser guy that was the night watchman at the armory. And he realized basically they had kind of struck up this sort of relationship with each other, and he had only struck up that relationship in order to get access to the armory. So Charles Ng is literally trying to be friends, but the way Charles Ng is friends is truly he's like, well, what's your name? Your name is Brian? We friends now, Brian. Yeah, is that fun? Yeah, we friends, huh? I show you the nunchuck. Come back by oh, look, you see my car here? I got a nunchuck, and I got, picture of Bruce Lee, because you know why? He's so tall. That's what I like about him. He's so tall. All right?
Yeah.
Now, what you're going to do, what he did was, it said to him, it's like, at night, you're going to pretend to go to sleep outside of the armory, and I am going to go and steal everything from inside of it and leave, and then you have the perfect alibi, which is you were sleeping.
One of the worst alibis you can give.
Yes, and then the dude eventually just gave him up because all these grenade launchers were missing from the armory, and then finally they was just Charles took it because they had sort of assumed Charles was fucking around doing something because he was just being really shifty.
Yeah, really sneaky like a ninja, and I think they followed the pitter-patter of steps back to his bunk, and they found him with all the guns cuddling.
But true ninja is not found because true ninjas won with shadow.
That is a good point. Yes.
So Ng, after he was caught, he managed to escape the custody of the chasers, which is slang for military police. He climbed out of a window and camped out in the Hawaiian jungle for a few days where he said he, quote,
developed diarrhea from being continually wet. And that's not my fault. Because I go out there and they're like, yeah, and I go out in Hawaii. Yeah, of course, yeah. It's a beach area, right? And there's pretty water everywhere. But I assume I go lay down next to a volcano. It's got to be dry, right? It's a volcano made out of rock, But it's wet, right? And now I'm sitting around and I've got a wet bottom and I've got diarrhea out of my pants and I can't hide my guns anymore. Everybody's always complaining.
Yeah, there was no toilet paper or anything. How did you clean up? Or you just...
I found a Carrera.
You used a koala bear.
Yes.
To wipe your butt.
You see, a koala bear is made out of toilet paper. But have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen the ad with the two bears and he gets a poo-poo on the outside of his
The Charmin ads,
Right, yeah.
That's what they don't show you. It's that they skin a Carrera and they take the surface half of the Carrera and they wrap it in bear bibs with it.
So toilet paper is made out of koala.
But as to why Leonard Lake and Charles Ng got along so well so fast, Ng later said, and this is an exact quote with the exact syntax that Ng used.
I look at him as a person that have like senior to me. I view him as a patriot because he have fought for the country, and I view him as a person who was very knowledgeable about different things like homesteading and history and geography, and also there are things of common interest that we have in the Marine Corps, and we usually talk about. And he never complained. He never once complained about what I bring to friendship. No pain, no gain, no care, no fear. Where's the beef? Where is the beef?
That's a good question.
Got milk?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got milk? I got milk. I pour my riddle udder I got here. I make milk all day round.
Little known fact, Ng came up with the majority of slogans we use today for beef and milk products.
Time to make the donuts.
Yes, that's correct. That's
Time
right.
to make some donuts. Time for me to make your donut. And I got all sorts of icing down here in my icing pouch.
You know, he always starts off really. If we just take the first sentence, I think we can use that for the slogan.
Have it your way. And by having it your way, I mean, I do you from behind.
I think we'll have it your way. Very good, Charles. Thank you.
So not too long after Charles Ng was released from Leavenworth, Leonard and Charles decided to try to get hired at a local moving company.
These two guys rolling up to fill out a fucking job application.
So while Ng went ahead and used his real name, Leonard Lake decided to instead use the last name Blake.
Good fake name.
Brilliant.
Again, Leonard Lake exhibiting his ability to make very believable fake names.
Yes.
He put a B in front of his last name.
Yeah.
So that was no way they were going to find him there.
Can't question me. It's like Lake, but with the B. Meanwhile, he's saying that out loud at the application.
Blake.
Blake.
We'll just mark it down for Blake.
Yeah, you know what? You can go ahead and do that. And this is my friend Tongue Duck Quack. No. I never changed the name. I Charles Ng, and I'll be that way till the day I die. Charles Ng, most mighty of the Ings.
Charles.
Oh,
That was his birth name.
Chucky Ng.
Charles Ng.
Oh, you write it down. Big letters. I never use any small letters. Only use capital. Because my name is very important. You don't know what I bring to friendship. What I bring to the movie company when you hire me there. I have sure and shelter. Need never Becker.
You are the only two that have applied, so I am in a tough position.
I certainly am not afraid of cabinet.
Hired.
Well, yes, Charles Ng was hired. Leonard Lake was not, because Charles Ng was in much better shape than Leonard Lake, because at this
How
time...
do you lose a job to Charles Ng?
Because Leonard Lake had a Randy Quaid body.
I see.
And was not, they didn't decide he was the professional face of the moving company.
Well, you know, Dennis Moving Company would very soon come to regret their decision to hire Charles Ng, for Charles was an odd employee, to say the least. He, of course, continued his classic chants of...
No kill, no thrill, move the mirror, do not break, it's bad rep.
And...
No gun, no fun. What is this, umbrella stand? Oh, you must be very rich. Have your own garbage can for umbrellas. But the thing is, with garbage can for umbrellas, you throw out the umbrellas.
He's got an easy last name to spell.
But a much more cryptic and creepy catchphrase had been added. This one was...
Daddy dies, mommy cries, baby fries.
Which is...
He's really good at this, I'm going to say.
This is what the man was chanting as he was moving things out of someone's house.
Or into someone's house.
You paid this man. And then a squat Kim Jong-un man with Jeffrey Dahmer glasses is chanting, Daddy cries, Daddy dies, Mommy cries, baby fries. As he's being like,
put the cabinet in the corner. Just put the cabinet...
tell me, women can never make decision for where to put furniture. That is why they must be bound and wrapped and forced to wash and cook for you. Anyways, where do you want me to put this?
Just the corner. Just put it in the corner. Thanks.
Well, that's the thing. Is what he would say is that later, when they asked him about this during the trial, this is what Ng would say he used these chants in the spirit of.
No, it's very Jackura type of rocker room talk. It was Jackura.
Jocular. Jocular.
No, yeah, I joke around. And so when I say, how a teacher would say joke around, I said jocular.
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 Well, the records show that he meant jocular.
How football guys joke around.
Yeah. The no gun, no fun thing.
Yeah, it's fun. It's for your football players or lacrosse players. They get together and they all laugh about, no gun, no fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. You don't know what I bring to the movie company.
A lot of jocular attitude. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, super jocular. Well, the moving company, like, they did not take him seriously at all. Like, he was just, they just treated him as kind of an eccentric dude. And in fact,
He's working at a moving company.
Yeah, they drew little caricatures of, like, a little Chinese guy, of course, with the big glasses and the buck teeth. And they would write, no kill, no thrill above it.
And he loved it.
He loved it.
It's jocular.
That is jocular.
That is jocular. Yeah. That's boys having fun.
Yeah,
sure.
That's boys being boys. Super jocular. And of course, as everywhere Charles Ng went, some people did kind of like him. He had one friend. His name was Perry McFarland. And Perry ate dinner with Charles every once in a while. And in between moving jobs, they'd practice spin kicks in their spare time.
Fucking losers.
That's a good friend match. He should have stayed with this guy.
No. You kick fuck higher, okay? No. What you do here, you rook. I don't mean to offend, never mean to offend. Oh, it's most honorable with people who are friends to Charles Ng. But I have to say, you look gay when you cook, right? When you kick like that, okay? So, yep, you gotta stick it up. Yep, make foot real stiff. Make your butt. Super hat. Oh, now you're doing the kickflip kick.
We should do this before we eat next time.
Yes, I am nauseous.
Yeah. Always getting sick.
So, of course, most people did not like Charles Ng.
Because I got to tell you, Charlie, hanging out with this, it's like, I just don't think most people really understand what you bring to the table in a friendship.
That's what I said. Nobody understands.
I mean, at this point, the only thing that he does bring into the friendship is kicking pencils out of people's hands, right? That's really it.
So, of course, most of these employees, they did not get along with Charles. His main rival was a man named Charles Parenteau, who also happened to be the person who took a chance on the strange, oddly muscular Chinese man. During one argument they were having about the workload, Parenteau yelled, "You goddamned Chinaman, I never should have gotten you this job."
You don't think I got myself the job? Look at these strong shoulders. Look at these strong knees. You don't know what I bring to moving company. You don't know what I bring. Parent, what I'm gonna, daddy, yeah. You don't know what I do. Me and my buddy Renner. I hate him. He hates when I say Renner. My friend Renner and I are gonna have time with you.
You mean Leonard?
Renner. Yeah, I said
Leonard.
You don't know what I bring to friendship.
So the Chinaman comment, among many other comments concerning Ng's Chinese ancestry, would eventually push Ng towards murder. Charles Parenteau disappeared on Super Bowl Sunday, 1985, the same day that local hero Joe Montana led the San Francisco 49ers to a 38-16 victory over the Miami Dolphins in Dan Marino's one and only Super Bowl appearance.
Thank you, Dog Meat. Is that fact just to attack Ed Larson?
Right.
From the round table?
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl.
He never had a he choked.
Dan Marino made it to one Super Bowl, and did he win it?
Nope.
He lost it.
He lost it.
He choked like George Bush on a pretzel. If you remember that bit.
I do. That was funny. Yeah, and then everyone made fun of him for that. Yeah.
Lost
to
Joe Montana. Some would argue a superior quarterback to Dan Marino.
Yeah.
Ooh, don't say that. That's fighting words. We're going to get some hate mail.
Charles Ng, it was game day. It was game day for Marino and Charles.
Everybody out there eating their buffalo ring. Everybody out there eating their tostita chip. You mix it in the salsa. Yes, I know it's a savory snack and I enjoy it. But that is the day I use for most nefarious activity.
What's that?
I kill Permandu. I kill Richie Permandu. How dare he make fun of him? Yeah, I don't know what I bring.
See the game, though?
Yeah, I mean, Joe Montana, very impressive.
Yeah, Dan Marino, huh?
Dan Marino really shit the bed.
Yeah, he really did, didn't he? Huh.
Well, later during the trial, Charles Ng would claim that he lured Parenteau to the cabin with the promise of a freelance moving gig. Now, Ng, who still to this day denies committing any murders himself, said that Lake shot Parenteau in the head, burned the body, and spread the charred bones around the property using a bucket. But this wouldn't be the only murder that Ng would commit at Dennis Moving Company. Another one of his co-workers, Jeff Gerald.
Strange combo of two first names as a whole name.
Yeah, Jeff Jerry. He was the bass player for the up-and-coming local rock band Crash and Burn.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. He would go missing later on that year.
You remember that? And they had that hit album that was almost hit. I think it hit number 1,014 on the charts called Margarita of Mayhem.
Oh, yeah, I love that song.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It does remind me of, we did see, for Christmas, we saw a
Steely Dan?
a Steely Dan cover band called Raised by Wolves. R-A-Z-E-D.
Well, if you were raised by a wolf, how do you learn how to play guitar?
Listen to Steely Dan.
See, the reason why Jeff Gerald disappeared was because Ng had taken issue with Jeff leaving work for a week for quote-unquote personal reasons while still retaining his position of seniority. See, Ng believed that Jeff, he should have to start back at the bottom when he came back.
What a pain in the
how's he
ass.
going to come back after leaving for personal reasons?
Where he go? Oh, sorry, where he go? Where Jeff?
Just a vacation. I think he's really exhausted.
Yeah? Yeah, you don't think I know exhausted? Look at my eyes, how they squint. Oh, you make racist comment about how I Asian. And I tell you, I just quit eye because my eyes tired. Got how many times I look at boxes?
Did you want to take any time off? We'd love if you took
This
some
would
time.
be like Vietnam. In Vietnam, things are fair. Things people knew what I brought to the Marines, and they knew what I brought to the military company as a big senior officer. You don't kill no thrill. No friend, no gun, you got. Just mommy Chris, baby flusher. I move mirror with most alacrity.
All right.
With most grace under fire.
Alacrity.
Alacrity, yes.
Think of a fundamental misunderstanding.
Grace
of
under
Vietnam.
fire. That is what everybody say about Charles Ng. Oh, he cute cucumber. Oh, he still wants to run deep with that Charles Ng. Oh, I should be senior officer. Oh, Jeff Jerry. Oh, I kill you. Oh, I kill you with me and my buddy Reynard.
What was that?
It's Reynard, my best friend.
What?
Reynard. Yeah, Reynard.
All right, so you're going to kill him.
Best
with
friend. Randy Quaid, buddy.
Cops took one look in the Honda Prelude's backseat and saw the vice laying in plain sight, and Charles Ng was nowhere to be found.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because, we did that thing where he threw the ninja smoke ball down, and then he was like,
Most like shadow disappear. Smoke disappeared. Not as thick as a... Third, I've got to spin kick my way out.
and because he could spin kick so fast.
That's right.
He was like a helicopter.
Yeah, and then he would
Rise
levitate
up
them.
into the
oh,
sky.
I see. Interesting.
And cops do not look above their eyebrows.
Oh, they
so
can't.
all he had to do was hover.
Yeah, that's you get above the
hat
eyesight of
line.
the hat. Yeah, of the rim of a cop's hat. You're free to go.
Both of the babies that we know for a fact were murdered by Leonard Lake and Charles Ng were less than a year old, which points towards multiple child murders.
Well, they obviously were doing as many horrible things as they could think of. And it seems like a lot of it was to cover up crimes. And a lot of it was probably, if there were many more M ladies besides Kathy and Brenda, like it's probably eliminating whole families. And the idea is that these kids are now a nuisance, and so now they're getting rid of everybody.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't just make your house an orphanage because you murdered everybody's parents.
Can you imagine that if it was half daycare?
Yeah.
With Charles Ng teaching them how to use nunchucks?
Mr. Ng, I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay. Now, all right. Now, listen. Now, many rules in Charles Ng Karate School. First of all, never use bathroom.
Okay, I just have to go.
Do what I do. Okay, no, this is lesson. I'm not to punish you now. I punish you later. What you have to do when you go to bathroom is, see, you take the littlest finger, your right hand. Mm-hmm. You stick it inside the pee-pee hole. Like this, like I do. And then eventually, the pee, if you don't get rid of it out of your body, it comes up out of your eyes as tears of happiness.
So while one investigator watched the M Ladies tape, which of course we all know what was on the M Ladies tape, another watched the one that was marked taboo, which at first viewing appeared to just be a movie taped off a TV, but as the investigator watched more closely, he noticed just a split-second flash in the middle. Now, those of you out there who remember VHS tapes, the tracking. You always had to deal with the tracking.
First of all, I hope everyone's taking their arthritis medication.
That's right. You can never be too serious about your medication.
And if you were like me, who obsessively taped every single thing they watched on television, when you taped over something, sometimes you would have a flash that would just be just a split second.
Or if you didn't fully cover it, if you were fast forwarding to like completely fill the whole tape, you sometimes would miss a little chunk.
And when paused, this flash revealed two bodies wrapped in plastic and sleeping bags lying in a blue wheelbarrow, the same wheelbarrow that was found in Lake's shed. And both bodies appeared to be in full rigor mortis. When faced with this flash at trial, Ng said,
I tried to touch the body as minimally as possible. Because, it's like, they've been dead for days. And it's pretty stiff. And it's not like what I saw in my Halloween shows as a child. When you go to a graveyard and all the skeletons are dun 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 dun, and they're dancing on funny rack with their top hats on, it's not like that with the actual dead.
yeah, just go away. And what Charles Ng did, called up Cricket, who gave him enough money to flee the country. Charles ended up in Canada, in Calgary, staying with his sister. And he was apprehended days later on another shoplifting charge. He tried to steal some food, a loaf of bread, I think, and for which a security guard and a school teacher wrestled him to the ground.
And that must have caused him much shame.
Yeah.
Yes, much shame. More shame. Charles lost control of his bowels during the struggle, and once he was alone in his prison cell awaiting arraignment, Charles tried to hang himself with his feces-soaked shorts. Guards promptly took away all of his clothes, so Charles was left in his cell, covered in shit, naked, and totally alone.
All you bastards think that I shit my pants on accident, but I tell you I do it on purpose. Ultimate rass weapon of the cornered ninja. What he does is, oh yes, you may get me in supine position. Oh yes, you may have me in boa constrictor hold. But guess what I do? I put my pepper on you.
You pooped on purpose? You pooped on poop now. Poop now then.
Well, but why did you try to hang yourself in the cell then?
Because I wanted it to be most filthy for when the EMT to come cut me down. Because then I know, even in death, I got my poo-poo on you.
Everyone does kind of get poo-poo on somebody when they die.
I honestly think that would have been Charles Ng's actual validation of shitting his pants.
I'm happy that he didn't get the easy way out, though. I'm still a little bit pissed off that Leonard Lake got to live out the cyanide dream.
Yeah, he really did. Because
you don't think it was Charles Ng's dream to shit on a bunch of people?
He didn't carry Dookie with him, though, wherever he went, soiled underwear wherever he went to hang himself.
He wasn't building up to it for literally decades.
We don't know.
That is true. Actually, we do not know that. We do not know that. We will not put evidence on the scene.
He literally could sit and force himself to shit all day, like forcing himself to throw up, being like, I don't know why I can make myself throw up lunch. Stick my two fingers and I hit my tip of throw up spot. There's got to be a poo-poo spot up in here. Oh, I just came in my pants. Oh, there's another kind of spot up in there.
That is a special spot, huh?
One drawing depicted Leonard Lake holding a whip in his right hand and his crotch in the left while saying, "Oh, I love you, Kathy, I really do," to a woman bound hand and foot on a small table, which represented Kathleen Allen, the pair's first M-Lady. But behind Lake and Kathy was a caricature of Charles Ng saying,
"Rice is ready, dinner time."
Right. Charles, I love the paintings very much, but you don't have any ink or any markers in your cell. What are you using to paint with the... I've been...
Most ignorant of you. So many ways how a man kept in captivity can make his own art surprise. What I like to call mine is... fart surprise.
Wait. Fart surprise or fart supplies?
Oh, no, I'm not being racist. It's a fart surprise.
Yeah, okay, good. No, I am surprised. I actually am. Thank you.
It's poo-poo.
It's poo-poo. Okay, well, just want to clarify. So that's jail, though, so I deserve it.
Now, regarding this cartoon, Ng actually said during the trial, quote,
"The background where I was standing with the bird of rice, that is a jerk, because in the transcript, Rick was talking about how you will fuck for us, work for us, and cook for us, when in fact, you know, I got to say, none of the M-raters have ever once cooked for us or washed for us. I was doing the cooking.
Oh.
I was the one actually doing most of the cooking when I'm up there. So then I was like putting like an essentially the satire of the whole unrealistic situation placed on this transcript."
And that was the word they used again and again to describe these cartoons, to explain away these cartoons.
They're satire.
He called them satire.
They're satire.
That's what I say.
So like the Onion.
Yeah. No. Like,
satire. It's a funny jokery type joke. You know how? Okay.
Right.
Yeah, okay. You see Garfield, right?
Yes.
Garfield can't eat lasagna all day long.
No.
But guess what? You give cat lasagna in real life, that kill cat.
Oh, I
Right?
see.
Yo, and I very much cat because it's like, as in my, it's just like, yes, I forced to cook and eat cat, and not because of my lineage, but because it's what I had available out by the sex dungeon. And I don't mean sex dungeon, I mean me and Rannert's apartment.
you and who?
I'll just spare it out for you. God damn it. I'm not, you know, I've never actually written his name down.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's D.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Sir, I go free now.
Yeah, you're free to leave.
Another cartoon showed Ing picking his nose in a jail cell, and in this drawing, the wall of the cell behind Ing had portraits of people that were labeled Carol, Cosner, Parento, Dubs, Gerald, Allen, and Bonds, respectively, all names of murder victims.
For satire, it's a little on the nose.
It seems a little on point, yeah.
Ing would brag to another one of his friends that he, not Lake, had done most of the killing. And the fact that these portraits contain many, but not all, of their known victims shows that there might be some truth to that. Now, that is extremely circumstantial, but it is possible that,
Leonard was killing people without his knowledge, and they were kind of like, Leonard was kind of off doing crazy shit while Charles Ing was doing God knows what in the backyard.
Or totally possible that Charles Ing actually did do most of the killing, and Leonard Lake's main motivation was
sex.
That Leonard Lake was more of a... Like, he was a killer who did it for, what's the name of it?
Opportunity.
An opportunity killer. That he was killing for IDs. He was killing for Social Security checks. And, of course, wanted the sex part of it, but Charles Ing was killing for the pleasure of killing.
And also just to say he killed. I actually think that Charles Ing didn't get the sexual pleasure out of it like most killers do. I think it's to show that he's a cruel big guy. Like, he's a hard guy.
Yeah. And if you look at their pasts, and especially their motivations for joining the Marines, seems like Leonard Lake joined the Marines just for the purpose of being in the Marines, for having that sort of survivalist attitude, tough guy attitude. But Charles Ing specifically said that he joined the Marines to kill people.
Yeah, and to get a gun.
Yeah, to get a gun and specifically to shoot people in the head and to murder.
These are two of the worst types of human beings that exist, and they're kind of the type that is ruining everything for everybody in America right now. We're seeing these guys all over the place.
People in cabins with sex dungeons in cabins?
Yeah, I'm just talking about just the mentality.
Well, that's part of it.
I'm talking about the mentality. You look at the kind of... You can kind of connect kind of what's happening with that militia in Oregon kind of to how Charles Ing feels, which is a bunch of guys that kind of played at a militia for a long time and then decided they wanted to make it real. And like all of this shit where you could see these guys have this sort of a male ideal of what they're supposed to be doing, where Charles Ing thought that to be a hardcore, like, badass, you had to kill people that were essentially innocent and show no mercy anywhere. And it's, I don't know, our system's coming to a psychopathic crash ending.
But as far as the cartoons by Charles Ing went, the most disturbing one by far showed Charles Ing demonstrating exactly what he meant by Daddy died, Mama cried, Baby fried. This one showed Charles Ng cooking a baby in a wok. And considering how the Daddy Died refrain was most popular with Charles during his Dennis Moving Company days, it is most likely that the baby in question was the son of Harvey Dubs. And when these cartoons were presented to Charles collectively during his trial, he tried to explain them all away, saying, quote,
Okay, time and time again. Okay, how to explain what I bring to a friendship, okay? It came about as a way to kill time, as friends do when you bring to friendship. And as a result of information that Roberge had supposedly read about me or heard about me, it resulted in a jocular activity between me and him. He would draw parts of the cartoon, and he'd slide it over to me. I'd giggle to myself, even though I knew it inappropriate. And I would embarrass it, and I'd send it back. You know, this was kind of a human thing between him and me. It's what we brought to our friendship. It was the curve of friendship, and I don't really understand why people get so mad about what I bring a friendship. Yeah.
Charles, it's Leonard. I'm up in heaven. I just want to say thanks for the friendship.
You break my heart with happiness. Oh, sweet Leonard. Oh.
I've got to go finish sucking off the Lord.
No.
Meanwhile, the whole court is just watching him talk to himself. I can see him try to be like, him literally trying to get people to understand him, like trying to be like, no, we joke around. And then it'll be like, you did that! You taught me how to joke around. Did someone go to Bill Bellamy and tell him how to joke around?
Bill Bellamy. Bill Bellamy reference.
This was 1992, 93, so, you know.
Nobody tells Chris Hardwick how to be funny on that single out show. Ooh, how I like Jenny McCarthy.
Yeah, she is very attractive. I don't think that the photos, though, the drawings don't seem to be that incriminating to me. If I was in the jury, I mean, they are just pieces of art, I suppose. And don't you embellish things for the worst when you're in prison because it's such a bizarro world
Let's
where
just put it
bad
this
is
way.
good?
You were on trial for the wrongful imprisonment, rape,
Right.
murder of families, entire families, including men, women, and children. Probably not your best idea to defend yourself in court is to draw funny cartoons.
Right.
To draw Gary Larson type cartoons about the crimes that you are accused of doing. It's pretty incriminating.
Yeah, well, but on the other hand, the evidence, you're right, Ben. As far as the American legal system is concerned,
It is not evidence.
that is the evidence against Charles Ng was surprisingly circumstantial. The actual hard evidence was surprisingly circumstantial as far as the actual murders go. As far as the crimes, the capital crimes, the ones that would get him the death penalty, surprisingly circumstantial. But as Henry said, taking the stand in your own defense is in any court situation, any situation is the dumbest thing you can do. Never do it.
We're just not
Never,
lawyers.
ever do it. They can trip you up. They can, even if you're totally and completely innocent, lawyers can still trip you up and they can still make you look guilty.
Yeah.
But in Charles Ng's case, they can trip you up and actually prove that those cartoons, yes, those are reality. Another one of the cartoons, by the way, mentioned Ng's quote-unquote asshole death grip. And when asked about this, Ng said, quote,
Roberge kind of pulled my rig, and I end up making the writing as kind of a satire to show that this is how ludicrous this kind of saying is. It's just jocular. Dude, nobody's laughing. Why is nobody laughing? I make a joke, and you just don't. I'm like Andy Kaufman.
Right.
The joke is the fact that I tell a joke. See? You get it?
Who did you study under? Did you study improv?
Dale Close?
Dale Close, the master of improv?
Yes. Second City I go.
So this was just sort of a yes and gone terribly wrong.
You have no idea how fast an improv scene can turn into murder of family.
I see.
So the defense during Charles Ng's trial, using all of these statements that Charles Ng had made to Popovich, the statements he'd made to LaBerge, all of the cartoons that he'd drawn, and that's not to mention his presence on the M Lady tapes.
That's the thing. That's what really nails him, is that he is on those tapes. Is that they see him there, he's hanging out, he's talking to the M ladies. He is obviously a part of these crimes.
Yeah, and he had, and they used the cartoon in conjunction with something that he said on the tape. They said, "Now, what did you mean when you said your baby is better off dead than with you?"
There's many. Jock, you're right, Tuck. You get in heat of the moment. You can't go. You go in the middle of any improv scene. Again, Dale Crow said, "Follow the fear."
Right.
Okay? You get in the middle of any improv scene, who knows? Yes, in the beginning of the scene, I may be working with the shovel, digging a new poo for my family. That's the situation. Next thing I know, I'm in a rocket ship.
Right.
Improv.
And you were digging a grave, huh?
So Charles Ng's entire defense was based around Leonard Lake committing every single one of the murders, with Ng being a somewhat innocent bystander. Yes, he did participate in the forcible kidnapping and imprisonment of these women. Yes, one of them did forcibly give him a massage in one of them, but he never killed anyone. This is what he said during the trial about his involvement in the murder of the entire Bond family, which pretty much sums up Charles Ng's entire defense.
I actually feel pretty regret about this. It was when I was young and adventurous and surrendered my independent judgment that I always going to regret.
So Charles Ng, after 6 years, was finally sentenced to death and currently sits on death row at San Quentin State Prison.